Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by singer, songwriter, Anizzy. Anizzy is from England, or India, I would say. Was raised in Houston, Texas, but his music is unique. He has a unconventional style of music. He mixes elements of Bollywood with today's traditional sounding R&B. So we're going to be talking about him, how he got started, and the barriers that he faced living in India, not England, but India, trying to get his music career started. So Anizzy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you just start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm an R&B artist based in Houston, Texas. So like Curtis said, I take like a different approach to my music. Something that's really big to me and really dear to me is showcasing my culture, right? Because I feel like, my people are highly underrepresented. So I really want to show people, like this is who we are. And so that's what kind of influenced me to add that Bollywood element into my music, and just like, just bring different cultures into music, because I feel like, blending in these different elements that people will never think of, it creates something really, really good. So that's that's how I got started with my vision for music, just blending those Bollywood elements, those sounds into traditional R&B, hip hop. And then, with my vocals, obviously, it sounds like pop music mixed with R&B music. So just all mixing all those different things together, it's been really great working with it. I've learned so much so far, and I'm excited to see where it takes me.
Well, for those who don't know, explain to everybody what Bollywood is.
Yeah, so I'm specifically from South India. So with with our music, it's really like classical. Obviously, like today it's kind of changed, right? Like the music scene, it's more modern and stuff, but instruments like veena, that's a traditional South Indian instrument. And growing up, I played tabla, which is another Indian instrument. It's basically Indian drums, is what it is. So I played that for 5 years when I came to Houston. My teacher was Dexter Reganon, and he was a world renowned tablaist. Great guy, great player. And I took tabla classes with him for 5 years, and I that's kind of where I got my vision from, to add that Bollywood element into my music, because I've loved music ever since I was a little kid. I would go around drumming on everything and tapping on and singing on everything. So then after those 5 years, once I got older, I knew that music was what I wanted to do. And then I started thinking about, how I was first introduced by playing tabla for 5 years. And I asked myself, what would it sound like to mix those Bollywood elements you know, into American sounds? I think it would sound dope. So I tried it one day and it sounded so good. And, I was just like, I can't believe no one has ever thought of this. I feel like this is something that people have ignored for a long time. And I want to show people that, hey, look, this is what it sounds like. And, you know, Indian people are more than what you think we are. I feel like there's a stereotype out there that people have of us, and I just want people to open up their minds a little bit more. So that's how I see it from my lens.
Well, tell us about, speaking of opening up minds, tell us about some of the barriers that you faced in your own country and how you overcame them when it came to starting your music career and the style of music that you wanted to do.
Yeah, so it was more like a barrier with my parents, right? It's it's like this thing that, traditional like Indian parents don't want their kids to be going into an industry that's not guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like it's not like music is a guaranteed thing, right? Like you gotta keep working at it, and if you keep working at it, eventually you'll get somewhere. But they didn't really approach it with that mentality. They were like, "Oh no, we need you to be an engineer, or we need you to be a doctor or business guy because those things are guaranteed and they'll get you money, blah blah blah." So that was kind of the barriers that I faced at first when I mentioned that I wanted to be a musician to my family. So, but I overcoming that, I would say just being myself, right? Like I mean, they are my parents. They have a point that it's not guaranteed, but at the end of the day, it's your life, and you got to make decisions for yourself. You only have one chance to be happy, right, and to do what you want to do. So yeah, at some point, you just gotta take things into your own hands and trust yourself.
Yes, I do. Tell us about how you came from India all the way up to Houston. How did you end up here in Houston?
Yeah, so it was my dad that first came to the US. So he was born and raised in India, but he came to the US to look for jobs, obviously. And it was he told me it was a rough go at first. It was economy was really bad, and being an immigrant, it was even harder to find a job here. But eventually he made it work, and few years later I was born, and we moved to Houston. He would move around a lot because he would go from job to job, but he finally got to settle down in Houston, and it's where I was raised. But what I did like about my family is that every summer we would go back to India, and I feel like that gave me like memories on where I'm from, right? Now, it's not like I was living as soon as we moved to Houston, we stayed here for the rest of my life. Like, nah, they took me back, took my whole family back to India every summer, and I would get to experience the culture there and my family. I would get to spend time with them. So it kind of reminded me that, where my family comes from, but I also got to be raised and get that experience living here in Houston. So yeah, man, that's how I ended up here.
We'll talk about some of your biggest influences, your musical influences.
So my biggest influence in music is The Weeknd. I love that guy, man. He's because like the way he approached with how he makes music, like he had this unique vision of blending 80s music with modern sounds, right? And it sounded so nice. And I thought to myself, I was like, more people should be doing this, opening up their minds and mixing things people would never dream of, not just sticking to one genre and keeping it the same as any other artist, right? Just try to make something different. And so that's the same way that I approached my music. And so he was one of the biggest influences, but another big influence in my music is, like I said before, the fact that we're underrated, like Indian people, specifically South Indian people. I feel like people know very little about us, and it's we're at a point in this world where you can't judge based on where people are from, right? Like everyone deserves an equal chance, and I hope that I get to open that opportunity, the South Indian people, right, to kind of open that door for them to be recognized by people for their talents, no matter what it's in, right? So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, tell us about the projects that you got out right now.
Yeah. So I actually just released a single not too long ago called "The Return." That's I'm planning on adding that to my EP that's coming up. I don't know when, but it's in the works. But I do have an upcoming EP coming out this January. So production is almost a wrap. I'm almost done recording the vocals and all that stuff. So almost at the final stages here, man, and I'm excited to release that one because it has a unique message and theme to it. So excited to get to work here.
Definitely excited to hear it. And when I bring artists or singers or whatever on the show, I like to give people a sample of what they sound like. So why don't you give us a little acapella sample of one of your best songs or one of your most popular songs real quick?
Oh man, I gotta pick a good one for this. Let's see. There's my last single. Let's see what I got here. Hmm. And man, that's a tough choice that you gave me there. Okay, I'll do a small snippet of my single Denver that I released in 2022, like beginning 2022. It's about when I went on a trip to Denver. So there it is in the name.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do a few seconds here. High up in the sky, and I'm feeling so young. That's all I can give you, though.
Oh, that's all you gotta give us?
This, hey man, it's on Spotify. Y'all want to listen to it on Spotify?
Oh, you gonna tease us. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Drive that crowd to my music, you know? Get
Yep,
that
and that's
working.
interesting. So yeah, that's an interesting marketing tactic right there. So besides your EP coming out in January, what else are you working on that people need to know about?
Um, so I'm actually working on two EPs at the same time right now, planning on releasing them back to back. So this one that I'm releasing in January, the it's gonna be called You Against Me. And the basic theme of that one is about all the people in my life that have basically like, stabbed me in the back or disrespected me at some point. And it's like it's kind of like I'm fighting a battle with those people in my life. And the story is like, I'm fighting, and in the end I win. So that's one thing that drives me to make music, right? When I get disrespected so much, I automatically just go to my room, start making beats and show people that what I can do. So that's the theme of that EP. It's coming out next month. And then the one after that is going to be called PTO. That's about how, whenever I go out on vacation with my friends, I'm away from my 9 to 5, and I just, when I'm out with my friends like that, exploring the world, I feel so free, and I feel like myself, and it's just a great feeling. So that's the next EP that's gonna be out after this one coming next month. So yeah, been working on those two simultaneously. So it's been a lot of work, but excited to drop them.
Absolutely. Throw out your contact information so people can keep up with you and check out your music and support you.
Yeah, contact information. I'm usually on Instagram every day. That's the main platform that I use. So my username is Anizzy Music. That's Anizzy Music. And then if you want to check out my music on Spotify, just search up Anizzy Anizzy, and then you'll find it on there. Listen to that song that I gave just now, a very short preview. Check it out. I hope y'all like it.
Absolutely. Close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe something that I forgot to touch on that you would like to talk about. Any final thoughts you have for the listeners?
Oh man, final thoughts. I'll leave it out on a motivational message for all of y'all that are struggling out there or need some inspiration. If you want something, then you should go do it, right? It's not gonna come easy. It's not gonna happen overnight, but get yourself in that mindset. Work hard every day, hustle hard every day. Don't care what others think of you. Just be yourself. Take risks, get uncomfortable, and I promise you that it's gonna lead to results. So keep at it. That's all I got. That's what I'm gonna end it on. Positive message.
Absolutely. Keep at it, ladies and gentlemen. And also check out Anizzy Music. Check out his music, support him. Check out that new music coming soon. And continue to check out this show. Follow, rate, review, share, and tell a friend if you enjoy this show, this episode. Anizzy, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to everything that you got coming up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.